always a pleasure to be in your company, and thanks for joining us for the next 20 minutes on the Thursday edition of Primetime News. I'm Michael Madimba. We commence with the labor unrest near Otjiwarongo, where nearly 200 workers of the Cheetah Cement, affiliated to the Mine Workers Union of Namibia, embarked on a strike at the cement factory situated about 6 kilometers north of the town earlier today. Mulisa Simiasa filed the story.
Leading the strike, Mine Workers of Namibia's regional organizer for the northern regions, Brian Chihero, in an interview told the Namibia Press Agency that the strike will continue indefinitely until their demands are met. He said Cheetah Cement, trading as Whale Rock Cement, has failed to negotiate in good faith as workers only want a reasonable salary increase and the introduction of housing, medical aid and pension benefits. Chihero noted for now workers earn about 3,600 Namibian dollars with no medical aid, no pension and no salary increase for about 4 years. Meanwhile, Cheetah Cement General Manager Kevin Lee, in a media statement on Thursday, said there is a deadlock between the management and workers, noting that the company has done everything in its power to conclude the protracted wage negotiations, but to no success since the workers have unrealistic demands. In May this year, Kevin said the company had proposed an increase of 800 Namibian dollars to employees earning less than 6,000 Namibian dollars and 500 Namibian dollars for those earning above 6,000 Namibian dollars, which was refused by the employees. Management, he added, further proposed the introduction of a pension and medical aid benefit with an 80% company contribution and 20% by employees starting January 2023, which they too refused. The general manager warned that workers on strike should expect no pay for the duration of their strike, saying that the company also intends to have the workforce reduced due to the economic hardships it has been facing since 2017. He said a meeting between workers and the company is therefore planned for the 3rd and the 4th of August this year to discuss the way forward on the reduction of the workforce.
Namibia and India on Wednesday signed an agreement for cheetahs from Namibia to be translocated to the Kuno National Park in the state of Madhya Pradesh in India. The Office of the High Commissioner of India to Namibia issued a statement saying the agreement was signed on Wednesday during a session of the 17th Exim Bank Conclave on India-Africa Growth Partnership. Namibia's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, and India's Minister of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change, Bhupender Yadav, signed the agreement. Wild cheetahs are extinct in India, while Namibia has the largest population of cheetahs worldwide. The transferring of the cheetahs would therefore mean a reintroduction of cheetahs to the South Asian country. On to Africa-US partnerships. The United States Embassy in Namibia has announced a trip to Mozambique and Namibia for the US Undersecretary for Civilian Security, Democracy and Human Rights, Uzra Zeya, from the 18th to the 24th of July. Shelva Wills brings us this report.
Zeya will advance U.S.-African partnerships on food security and support for refugees and internally displaced people, as well as promote human rights, strengthen democratic governance, and combat human and wildlife trafficking. According to a press statement issued by the embassy on Wednesday, Zeya began her trip in Maputo, Mozambique on 18 July, where she met with government officials and members of civil society to discuss opportunities to advance stabilization of violence-affected areas, leveraging new opportunities under the U.S. strategy to prevent conflict and promote stability. According to the statement, during a visit, she highlighted the important work the U.S. is doing in African and international partners to combat terrorism and human trafficking, build the capacity of judicial and law enforcement partners, assist internally displaced persons and people affected by violence in northern Mozambique, and promote food security, democratic principles, anti-corruption efforts, respect for human rights and religious freedom. The Undersecretary is scheduled to travel to Windhoek, Namibia on Thursday to meet with government officials to advance shared global priorities on climate change, transnational crime, energy, discuss joint efforts to strengthen democracy, promote the human rights of all individuals, combat human trafficking, assist refugees, and promote regional security.
Moving on. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform announced that its deeds registration system, which ensures service delivery to clients, has failed. Shelva Wills once more breaks down the why.
Since 2003, the ministry has used two parallel systems, namely the manual and automated systems. The ministry's executive director, Ndiyakupi Ngituwamata, told this agency on Wednesday that the ministry wishes to inform the public that the current system has malfunctioned and will remain offline until further notice. According to Ngituwamata, the situation has impacted the deed search and other functionalities. She stated that the public should be advised that the ministry is working non-stop to restore the system.
When we return, Director General of the National Planning Commission says there is a dire need for Cabinet to make decisions based on an updated central database. In our Primetime Biz segment, Director General of the National Planning Commission, Obed Kanjose, says there is a dire need for Cabinet to make decisions based on an updated central database to guarantee development. Linia Dishena Father's story.
Speaking at the launch of the updated Sustainable Development Goals Indicator Framework here on Wednesday, Kanjose stressed that national issues should be debated based on readily available information on updated data drawn from a central database, such as that of the Namibia Statistics Agency. Namibia's 2021 population and housing census was postponed until further notice due to a lack of funds. Thus, the country's latest data is from the 2011 census. Kanjose said currently there is a challenge as Cabinet is adopting policies based on outdated data, stressing that the top decision makers are unable to reflect statistically and actively on teenage pregnancies in the country, as the NSA is unable to supply the government with such information. He noted it cannot be left to newspapers and news organizations to keep being ahead of the institution and government for planning. Kanjose indicated that the NSA should be able to give government updated information to ensure quality policies as well as better service delivery and development. At the same occasion, NSA's Statistician General Alex Shimafeni said, in the absence of the census, the NSA is leaning towards administration data and records collected from various institutions to supplement the currently available data the agency has.
On to global business news. The European Central Bank earlier today raised its interest rates for the first time in over a decade as fears of a gas supply cut cloud the outlook for the Eurozone economy. Isabel Bento brings us more.
In the face of soaring inflation, the central bank's policymakers are committed to raising interest rates by at least a quarter point from their current historic lows. Consumer prices rose at an 8.6% annual pace in June, a record for the Eurozone and well above the European Central Bank's 2% target. The broken supply chains and the rising cost of energy following Russia's invasion of Ukraine that have driven the price surge are also weighing on economic activity in Europe. The continent's dependence on Russian energy imports has Eurozone members bracing for a difficult winter and planning to ration supplies if Moscow halts gas deliveries. The European Commission on Wednesday put forward a plan to cut gas by 15% to mitigate the worst potential impacts on the economy.
That's all we had for you for the top segment of the Thursday edition. Kindly stay tuned for your sports installment. But first, the economics roundup and the weather forecast.
Sport Planet brings you all things adrenaline and action. A very good evening and welcome to Sport Planet. Football dominates the segment. Another chapter in the personal rivalry between former Liverpool teammates Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah will play out in Rabat, Morocco tonight at the 2022 CAF Awards when the African Player of the Year is named. Mane was a key figure in the Senegal team that defeated Salah-captained Egypt in the 2021-2022 Africa Cup of Nations final and in a 2022 World Cup playoff. Salah was voted the 2021-2022 Premier League Player of the Season by both the Professional Footballers Association and the Football Writers Association. The list of contenders was trimmed from 10 to 3 on the eve of the ceremony, with Senegal and Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy the other survivor. On to the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich coach Julian Nagelsmann says it's crazy that Barcelona have been able to make multiple signings in the transfer window, including Robert Lewandowski from the Bundesliga champions. Barcelona have struggled financially in recent seasons, but were able to seal the signature of two-time FIFA Player of the Year Lewandowski in a €45 million deal. The Catalan Giants also signed Brazilian winger Rafinha from Leeds for a reported €55 million and have brought centre-back Andreas Christensen and former AC Milan midfielder Frank Kessie to the Camp Nou on free transfers. They bought a lot of players, I don't know how, Nagelsmann told a press conference in Washington during his side's pre-season tour of the United States. In March 2021, Barcelona said they were suffering from huge debts, cash flow problems, and a large wage bill. Kindly stay tuned for your sports roundup. That's where we leave it for tonight. Many thanks for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and press the notifications bell to stay posted on the latest happenings locally and globally. Do join us tomorrow for this week's last edition of Primetime News. From myself, Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa, and the entire production crew, it's good night.